You're listening to the Balanced Educator Podcast, episode number 150. Welcome to the Balanced Educator. We're your hosts, Kaylee
and Josiane from EduCalm. Our intention is to equip and empower you to feel more calm, balanced, and joyful in all aspects of your life. Hi there, and welcome to the show. So today we are talking about co-regulation. Are your students struggling to self-regulate? In this episode, we explain why you will have more success when you focus on co-regulation first. So in this episode, you will learn concrete ways to co-regulate with your students in the classroom so that everyone can benefit from emotional regulation and be ready for effective teaching and learning. But before we dive into the show, I'd like to share today's sponsor.
EduCalm Classroom is our online social emotional learning and mindfulness program made by teachers for a real-life classroom. If you want to give your students strategies for managing their emotions and behaviors, for improving mental health, and if you want to have a daily routine that helps to create a calm and focused classroom, the EduCalm Classroom program will make it easy for you to reach these goals. All you have to do is log into our website, choose a theme you'd like to focus on for the month, like mindfulness or growth mindset or emotions or mindful movement. There's many different options. And then use the ready-to-use resources in either French or English because the program is bilingual. It's really as simple as pressing play on the audios and enjoying a 2 or 5 minute guided mindfulness practice with your students. So you don't have to be an expert in mindfulness or social emotional learning to use this program. You get to learn and participate with your students. So you can use the first unit of EduCalm Classroom for free indefinitely. There's no expiry when you sign up for the free trial at educalm.com. And that free trial will also give you a training video that you can use to learn how to kind of navigate the website and use the program. If you're enjoying the resources from the free trial, you feel like it fits your teaching style and it fits your goals, then you can get over a year worth of no prep mindfulness audios, videos, printables, and more by signing up for a yearly membership. So this program really removes all the hurdles you might be having in terms of trying to find good resources and trying to find, things that follow one another and actually make sense throughout the year. This program is ready to go. You don't have to do any prep. It really removes that barrier and that hurdle for you. So to learn more or sign up, go to educalm.com. That's EduCalme.
All right, let's dive in. So first things first, I want you all to picture yourselves on those crazy days when you woke up on the wrong side of the bed and you got up late and you rushed all morning long. We've all done it.
Yep.
You forgot something. You forgot to grab something. You forgot your lunch on the way to school. There was crazy traffic.
You spilled your coffee. There,
you spilled your coffee. You have a big brown stain on your white shirt. Okay, taking it a little extreme now. That was fun though. But you guys, you know what days we're talking about right now.
Yeah,
like those
when
days.
One bad thing seems to be a domino effect to the next bad thing.
And then you're like, okay, it'll be fine once I get to school. But your energy is up here, and I'm, putting my hand high above my head right now. If you can't see me. And then you're like, it'll be fine. And then your students come in and they are just like chaos. Like it's this problem, and this kid forgot this, and this kid forgot this. I don't know. You know those days.
And you're like, I can't even deal with my own stuff today. How am I supposed to deal with your stuff? You guys were supposed to be the calm. You were supposed to be my grounding moment.
And then the energy just keeps snowballing in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
It's just like gets worse and worse and worse. And it's like one of those situations where the worse it gets, the worse it gets.
Yeah. We've all been there.
Let's talk about that day. Okay. And how we can manage that day better and avoid the day snowballing so much.
Yeah.
Because we're all going to have bad mornings sometimes. It's just life. Life is life.
Absolutely. But I think the thing to really kind of pay attention to focus on, and that's the focus of this episode, is noticing on those days when you're feeling off, how it seems to always also be the days where your students are off. There is a very direct correlation there between you not being your best self and your students not being their best self. And the reason is because our emotions are felt by others. Our emotional state affects those around us. And we've all had that experience where, you are that Debbie Downer that you spend some time with them and it seems like they just suck the energy out of you because they're always kind of have this dark cloud over their head, or that friend that's, in a great mood and you have lunch with them. And after lunch, you're like, wow, I have so much more energy. I feel so much better after spending time with them. The energy.
That's how I feel like when I hang out with you.
Oh, that's how I feel when I hang out with you too. Oh, so good. You got to have those people in your life. The ones that, when you see them, your energy is going to be uplifted. That's right. Got to surround yourself with those people. Curate those friends. So our energy affects others. Other people's energy affects us. And that means that when we're in a classroom with ourselves and probably 25 plus other humans, the energy is dominoing between each other. So, you could have one student in your class that's having a really off day and their mood and their actions are dominating to those around them. So they're having a hard time self-regulating because they're big emotions. That leads to them having a conflict to someone else. Now that person's having a hard time self-regulating. So when we think of our classroom space, it's not just a bunch of individuals. We are feeding off of each other.
We sympathize with each other's emotions.
Yes, absolutely. And so that means that self-regulation is step 2, not step 1. If we're asking each of our students to individually manage their emotions, that can be tough when there's a lot of outside factors that are influencing their emotions as well. So a better strategy is to focus more on co-regulation first. So co-regulation is when the whole class or, you and another student, even one other student or a couple other students, there's a group going on here, whether that's the whole class or smaller groups, you are working on managing your emotions together, regulating your emotions together. And sometimes that can be so much more effective. Like I'm just thinking when I'm practicing yoga, for example, at home by myself, it doesn't always get me into that great feel-good state that I can get when I go to a yoga class and I have the energy of the whole class and the teacher there guiding me and I leave the class. It's so much more effective in regulating my emotions than when I'm doing it alone. Same is true when we're practicing co-regulation strategies in the classroom. All of that energy of all of us working together to manage our emotions is so much more effective.
All right. So I think it's just important to understand that when us as teachers, when we show up and we are feeling big emotions, frustration or impatience or whatever it may be, our students cannot self-regulate their own emotions until we are also self-regulated as teachers. I think it's just really important to re-mention, the importance of we teachers have to be regulated emotionally for our students to self-regulate. So we often talk self-regulation, but we forget about that co-regulation piece, which is why we're saying co-regulation before self-regulation, where we as the teachers need to model that and find that emotional state that we want to be in, that we want our students to be in as well.
Yeah.
So the best way to co-regulate is to create routines in the classroom that will allow us to have that dedicated time to co-regulation. Mm-hmm. So what we want to do today is kind of just give you lots of co-regulation strategies that you can start implementing in your classroom right now.
Yeah. We suggest, of course, as always, routine and repetition. If you can create a routine in your classroom of a time that you're co-regulating together every day at the same time, so your students actually start to self-regulate in advance because they know this co-regulation time is about to happen. So it becomes such a routine that actually their mind and body start to create that routine of calm, knowing it's coming. So a great time to do this is first thing in the morning when a lot of different students and yourself are coming in with different emotional states. Let's all co-regulate together, get on the same page before we start teaching and learning, or right after recess or right after lunch, and I mean, do it many times throughout the day.
We encourage it many times. You'll save lots of time by taking that minute or two to co-regulate.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a very simple one that you can do is, and this takes 1 minute to 5 minutes, however long you want to make it, is to use a breathing strategy. And we have lots of breathing strategies in the EduCalm program, which is a co-regulation program. But we're just going to share a couple with you today. And we have some posters that you can grab with all of these breathing strategies for free.
Yes, we have a free ebook with beautiful posters with these breathing strategies that we're going to share today. So you'll definitely want to check that out at educalm.com/welcome.
Yes.
A whole page dedicated to our free resources that you can start using right away.
Yes.
educalm.com/welcome.
Love it. So the first one, you've definitely heard about it before. We've talked about it numerous times on the show, is 5-finger breathing. We love this one because it's so visual, and because the kids are actually doing something physically, it really helps them to regulate themselves.
Yes.
How do you do 5-finger breathing?
So you place one hand in front of you, and then with the index finger
do it with
of
us.
The other hand, I am walking you through it right now. So follow along with me, listener. Place one hand in front of you. Take the index finger from your other hand and place it where your thumb and wrist meet. Now we're going to trace our hand slowly as we breathe through our nose deeply and fully. So as you inhale, trace up your thumb. Exhale, trace down the other side. Inhale, trace up your index finger. Exhale, trace down the other side. Inhale, trace up your next finger. Exhale, trace down the other side. Inhale, trace up your next finger. Exhale, down the other side. Inhale, trace up your pinky. Exhale, trace down the other side. Pause and just notice how you feel. So when we breathe slowly and deeply, especially when we breathe into our belly, so as we're breathing, we're filling our belly like a balloon and then emptying the belly like it's a balloon. It's telling our nervous system that we're safe, that all is well, and it helps us to shift out of the stress response and into a calm and relaxed state where our mind and body are ready to learn. So this short little breathing strategy can be enough to co-regulate with your students. We suggest doing this often, and students will use this strategy on their own after they've practiced it a few times. I really like to also have a student in the class lead the rest of the class through the breathing strategy, especially with the younger grades up to middle grades, that they feel, cool,
empowered.
Fun, empowered by teaching it
Powerful.
to the class. Yeah. So definitely something that you can do every day in the classroom as a routine.
So that's a great one. The second strategy is balloon belly breathing. So you place both hands on your belly and you pretend that your belly is a balloon. And as you inhale, you fill the balloon. Exhale. Empty the balloon. Do that however many times you'd like.
I find that 5 to 10 times is a really good amount of times to give your body the chance to shift out of that stress response and into the calm state. So yeah, very simple.
Love that one. Feels good to take a deep breath. The next 3 that I'm going to share, you're going to have to get the ebook, the Posters ebook, because they are tracing breathing exercises. So you print out, the first one is snowflake breathing, and students kind of follow the snowflake as they inhale and exhale. It's very obvious on the poster where they're supposed to inhale and exhale. The next one is flower petal breathing. So similar idea as the snowflake. It's fun for elementary because, you can take out flower petal breathing in the spring and snowflake breathing in the winter.
Yep. Those ones are definitely fan favorites with our elementary teachers. That's for sure.
Yes, but they're good. Don't be fooled. They're good for older students too, because again, it's like that, the fact that there's like a visual in front of them.
Yeah.
And with older ones, they may not use their finger to trace, but they can still follow with their eyes, and it gives them something to look at while they're breathing.
It's so true.
Something to focus on. When
we ask our students to take deep breaths, they're not going to. They need to have an exercise that's kind of forcing them to take the deep breaths. And it's not just students, it's adults too. I can tell myself, okay, take a deep breath. But if I don't actually use one of the breathing strategies that forces me to take those deep breaths and focus on that breathing, it's not as effective.
Yeah.
So yeah, those printable ones are also great to have where, you can print it up and students can have them at their desk, in a binder. Maybe you have it in a calm corner. Maybe you have it on a wall somewhere in your class. Very useful.
Yeah, you could, if you don't have time to print it, you could also just project it and students would air follow it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And important to remember, this is a co-regulation activity, which means
you're doing it with them.
You have to do it with them. This is for you as much as it is for them.
If not more.
If not more. Probably more.
Yeah.
Yes. And the last one that we're going to share today, there's a zillion breathing strategies out there, but mountain breathing. So it's following a mountain, which is a triangular shape, and then they hold the breath on one of the sides.
Yeah.
So it's just varying the type of breath that they're taking.
Yeah.
So that's one co-regulation activity that you can do, is breathing strategies.
Again, you can get that printable ebook at educalm.com/welcome.
Yes. Another awesome one that you can do, there's also posters in that same ebook, is that go with this activity, is to get students to visualize their calm place or a place that makes them feel relaxed or happy. You can use whatever wording you want, right? Getting them to close their eyes and imagine it, and or getting them to draw it out, and or getting them to journal about what this space looks like, feels like, sounds like, etc.
Yeah. A great way to really bring this home and kind of feel those calming feelings and really be able to clearly visualize is by asking our students to use all 5 senses. So asking them, what
and
is
yourself.
Yeah. And yourself. So what is it like? What does your calm place look like? What does it sound like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? What does it feel like? So, yeah, I love that one.
That's a strategy I personally go to often when I'm starting to feel stressed.
Yes.
Be okay, where's my calm place?
It's so helpful. The beach.
Oh, yes. I visualize myself in the forest somewhere.
Yeah.
And another great co-regulation activity that you can do is journal about what you're grateful for.
Yes.
It's a simple one.
So easy. Just pull out a scrap piece of paper, put a 5-minute timer up on the projector, and, the students maybe they have a journal, maybe they have...
You have to have a journal
but
as
you
well.
have to too. That is the main thing.
You're not doing corrections during this time.
No,
you are co-regulating.
Exactly. So you're pulling out that piece of paper and you're modeling and fully participating. Resist the urge to do classroom management during this time. It's just 5 minutes, even if they aren't completely 100% on task. This is more about you than it is about them.
Yes. In EduCalm, there is a full journal. It's 20 days of gratitude journal as well for teachers who use the EduCalm program. Next one is mindful movement. And you can do this by guiding your students through some stretches and some movement, or you can put on a video, which there's also lots of videos in EduCalm. But you can also find some wherever, YouTube.
Yeah.
But remembering that this is mindful movement to regulate.
Yeah.
So you may not want to choose something that's like crazy high energy, depending what you and your group need.
Yes, exactly.
Sometimes the co-regulation piece is that you are exhausted and you need to find energy. So, right? So it's whatever you need.
Yeah.
So just being mindful of that.
Yeah. And if you don't have a membership to EduCalm Classroom, in EduCalm, we have lots of mindful movement videos ready to go for you. If you don't have a membership, maybe just kind of set some time aside to find a couple videos on YouTube that can be your go-tos that you've already vetted to make sure that they're appropriate. And they're ready to go when you need it. So you don't have to worry I want to play a video, but I don't know if it's appropriate. So just, take that time to find a couple that work for you that you can choose from on the fly.
I love it. Another activity that you can do, both you and your students, is color, either a blank page or a coloring page, whatever, or drawing by numbers or a Sudoku or that type of activity that we often use for early finishers, but can also be super useful for this purpose of co-regulation.
Yeah. And I highly recommend putting a timer up on the board so that the students know that this is, a 5-minute activity. Everyone is quiet. And one strategy that you gave me long ago that was so helpful is turn the lights off. Just that automatically shifts the energy. Turn the lights off in the classroom. Set a timer for 5 minutes. No one is talking. We are just using this time to co-regulate, to feel calm, to prepare our minds and bodies for learning. And as the teacher, resist the urge to check your emails and get things finished during this time. You enjoy coloring.
Yes.
Just enjoy it. You deserve joy in your day.
Yes, totally. And kind of similar to what you just said, another activity is just putting up that timer for 5 minutes and just giving students and yourself free time. But I don't mean free time willy-nilly here. I mean controlled free time where you shut the lights, you tell the students, okay, you have 5 minutes to do your thing, but the rule is, or the expectation is, that you're in your little bubble. So whatever you do has to be respectful towards everyone else. You can't, make noises or whatever it may be, your group best. But sometimes as teachers, we think wow, can I spend 5 minutes doing nothing? And you kind of feel panicky or bad about it. We're giving you permission.
Yep.
If it helps you to co-regulate, you will do more.
Physiologically speaking, if you need a science explanation to convince yourself,
Kaylee's science gal.
If you need an explanation, convince yourself that this is worth the 5 minutes. The way that our bodies work when we are in the stress response, our mind, our brain literally shuts off most of the things required for new learning. So when our students are stressed, they cannot learn. It's like having the door to learning shut. So if we are not taking the time to co-regulate with them, then we are getting nowhere fast. So taking that 5 minutes to co-regulate is going to allow us to make so much more distance in learning afterwards than we could if we didn't take that 5 minutes. So if you're thinking, I don't have time to take 5 minutes to slow down, you don't have time to not take 5 minutes to slow down.
That.
Exactly. You don't have time to waste on brains that aren't ready for learning, yours included, and yours most importantly.
Yeah.
you have a
'Cause you're
big
the one
job to
teaching
do.
the material.
Yeah. You have a big job to do and a lot to pay attention to. And when your body and mind are in the stress response, you cannot do your best work. So you don't have time to not be mindful and take care of your emotional state with your students. Co-regulation. Do it.
Do it. Okay. And this is also making me think like this whole, like there's just such a crazy like teacher burnout, teacher self-care culture right now. Like it's just such a thing that is so talked about, but I feel like that just adds more stress to teachers' plates because they're like, when do I find the time for self-care? You guys, this is the time. It is a part of your school day instead of being this extra thing added to your plate, added to your to-do list that actually just stresses you out more.
Yeah.
And do it with your students.
If you're putting the pressure on yourself to be in the perfect state of mind before you walk into the classroom every morning, like you're not a robot, you're a human. You're a
And
human.
humans have emotions.
Yes, that's just how it works. Like you can't walk into the classroom being on your A game every single day. It's just not
impossible.
Realistic. And it's really unfair for the system to tell us that we need to be doing all of our self-care on our own time and we don't have time to be a human within our classrooms. That's insane and unreasonable.
Yeah, we're not
and
okay with it.
unsustainable. I'm getting worked up just thinking about it.
We could do a whole episode on that. We should do a whole episode on that.
Yeah, exactly. So, and what a gift to share with your students to teach them that part of doing their best work is starting with self-care, is starting their work day. You know, it's your work day. It's their work day too. In school, they're learning how to be workers.
School is their
right?
job.
It's their job. So what a gift to give them that, look, before we start to do our best work, we care for ourselves first.
We co-regulate.
We co-regulate. And then we get into it. And when we start being dysregulated, you know, if we're 20 minutes into the lesson and we're dysregulated again, well, we pause, we co-regulate again. We use one of these 2-minute strategies and then we get back into it.
We do not need to walk around with our shoulders to our ears all day long. We don't have to, guys. We don't have to.
It's not useful. So be human, show your students that you're human. Be human with your students and co-regulate together.
Yes. Okay. And the last strategy that we're going to give you today is to do a mindfulness practice. And we can do that for you so that you can co-regulate. You can listen to an audio from Educalm, from the free trial, or whether you're using the free trial, the full version. And you listen to it for 5 minutes. Gives you 5 minutes to co-regulate before you dive into academics.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about Educalm before we...
Educalm is our...
It's a co-regulation program.
It's a co-regulation program. We developed this program because as teachers, we recognized that our students weren't ready to learn if we weren't ready to teach. If we weren't regulated, they weren't regulated. And we had a really hard time finding a solution to this problem because a lot of the solutions out there required us as the teacher to facilitate, to teach the strategies, but we needed to practice the strategies with them. So we developed Educalm Classroom as a co-regulation program where you as the teacher do not have to be the expert. You aren't leading anything. All you're doing is pressing play on the audios or the videos, and you are practicing and learning alongside your students. Through this practice, by creating this routine of self-care in the classroom every day, you're both building skills throughout the year that increase your ability to self-regulate, increase your ability to manage your mental health in a positive way, and because you're focusing on this self-care and getting your mind and body ready for effective teaching and learning every day as a routine, you end up by the end of the year going so much farther with academics because you've cared for the human first. So got to check it out. Go to educalm.com/welcome. On that page, you'll find all of our free resources, the ebook we talked about today, and you'll also find where you can sign up for the free trial to Educalm Classroom, which gives you the first unit of our program for free, which includes some training on how to use it, really simple training, just a little video, 15-minute video that just kind of teaches you how to use our program effectively.
Don't need any other professional development for this.
No, exactly. And then if you are enjoying the free trial and you want a lesson ready for you for every single day of the entire school year, you can sign up for a membership, and then you will have you'll never have to think about planning your co-regulation time for your students.
Be there.
It's all ready for you. Just sign in and press play.
I love it.
Yeah. So again,
that's your exit ticket for today.
Yes,
check it out.
educalm.com/welcome. And Educalm is spelled EDUCALME. Educalm.com/welcome. All right, friends. Thanks so much for spending this time with us.
So much fun.
Yeah, we hope that you start enjoying more self-care within your classroom with your students because you deserve it. You're awesome. If you enjoyed this episode and got value from it, please share it with a teacher or a friend that you think would enjoy it too.
Have an awesome week.
Bye.